to Vlogmas. So today I'm going to talk about 3 NBA players who I think are going to have a breakout season. Now I'm going to exclude Markelle Fultz from these because I think Markelle Fultz is going to be most improved player of the year, and I've already talked about that, so I'm going to exclude him from this video. But like I said, most improved, so he obviously fits in this category. So first, let's start off with DeAndre Hunter. Now, if you're a fan of this channel, if you watch my videos, you already know DeAndre Hunter is one of my favorite players coming out of college. I've said it multiple times. When that draft class was going on, I was waiting for DeAndre Hunter to be picked, and I'm so happy the Atlanta Hawks got him. I actually think the Atlanta Hawks was one of the best places he could have gone given what was the landscape at the time. If you don't know, DeAndre Hunter was great in college. At Virginia, that Virginia team that won the championship, wow, they were great. He was always known for his defense, and he obviously was a great offensive player as well. Hit the big shot in the corner to send the game to overtime. Like, he just had so many big shots in that championship game. So now in preseason, I'm starting to see that translate because he's looked efficient and really good. He had 22 points the other night, I believe, and then the night before that, he had 18. Like, he's really been putting it on. I think it's clear that he's more comfortable and able to get into his rhythm. I think throughout the season, we're gonna see a lot more from him. He's gonna be more efficient and show all of his talent that I saw in college. And don't get me wrong, he's obviously been talented and good in the NBA thus far, but he's been a little bit inconsistent, you know, adapting and developing, you know, just the learning curve of being in the NBA is so different than college. But this season, I don't think that's a problem. I do also think he's going to take on a lot of the toughest defensive assignments. I don't think he's necessarily going to guard like Steph or KD for the whole game, but I do think his defense is going to be put to the test a lot of the times, and I think he's going to do well at it. This man was a lockdown defender in college. Like, don't let anybody fool you. Watch his highlights. Go watch. He was a lockdown defender in college. And to be honest, I think he has the starting small forward role on lock. You know, they said Gallinari is going to come off the bench. So I think it goes to him, and he'll have plenty of minutes and plenty of time to showcase his talent. And let's not act like he averaged 2 points per game last season. He did average 12. He was just not as efficient as he should have been or could have been. But like I said, I don't think that's a problem this season. I think he's gonna average somewhere between 16, 17 points per game. I wouldn't go as high as 20, just because like I've talked about before, the Hawks have so many pieces, so much depth, and also I think they're gonna focus him a bit more on the defensive side of the ball, so that's why I don't think it's gonna increase as much. Definitely possible that he can go from 12 to 20, I don't doubt it. I just think he's gonna be, like I said, focused a little bit more on defense, taking on the tough assignments, but while still increasing his offensive efficiency. I also think he'll increase how efficient he is from 3. He shot 36%, which is a respectable number, but I know he could do better. I think he could do 40 this year. Keep your eyes on DeAndre Hunter, and don't say I didn't tell you first. Second player we need to look out for this season is RJ Barrett. Now, it makes sense why RJ should get better because he was a rookie last season, and that's, you know, usually what happens. A lot of rookies get better after they have their first year, you know, the big learning curve. But I think he's gonna get better for more than just one reason. So besides the fact that he's just going into his second season and just has more experience, we have to remember that his full rookie year wasn't a full rookie experience. Season got cut short, so he didn't really have the whole season to learn and develop just like other rookies have in past. One of the things that I think is really motivating him, and he has said it himself, is the all-rookie team snub. I mean, let's be realistic, he was a bit inconsistent last year, and I'm going to talk about why I think that is in a little bit, but he was a little bit inconsistent. However, he felt snubbed, and so he's using that as his motivation. And I'm not necessarily saying he shouldn't have made the team because I think he definitely had a shot to make the all-rookie team, but I don't get a vote, so my opinion doesn't matter on that. What I'm saying is he's using that as motivation. I think at times he felt kind of pressured being on the Knicks last year because, well, first of all, the Knicks are starving for success, starving for a star, and you have the number 3 overall pick, RJ, who wants to be in New York. He said it, and you know he was teammates with Zion, and even before college, if you remember, he was supposed to be the number 1 pick, not Zion. And then as they got into the games, you know, it turned into Zion and then him being top 3, top 2. So I think he just had so much pressure on him. He really wanted to do well. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself as well. And I just think, like I said, the whole season was, you know, crazy. So I think all of that had to do with the fact as to why he was inconsistent. Don't get me wrong, some of it's on himself, just, you know, needing to learn and develop. So like, it's not just because, you know, he had pressure and all that kind of stuff, but I do think it contributed to it. That being said, I think we see a big step forward from RJ this year. Honestly, this may be a little bit bold, but I think he might average 20 points per game next season. Maybe it's not 20 points per game, maybe I'm wrong, but I see it. I see 20. In preseason, he's been fantastic. The first game he started a little slow, but after that, he's been efficient, aggressive, he looks confident, and he's making his free throws. And that's the most important part to me because that was the one thing I think he needed to work on the most was his free throws, and it looks like he's been doing that. I'm really impressed with what I've seen from him through the preseason, And I think he's someone you also need to look out for because he's coming. And the last player that I want to talk about today is Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr., as we all knew, was supposed to be something super special coming out of college. But the thing was, he had injuries and all that kind of stuff, so it dropped his stock and he didn't get to play for a while, so we didn't really know what was going to happen. However, when he did finally get to play, when we saw him in that bubble, he was special. Now, you know, he was inconsistent sometimes as well. You know, that usually happens with younger players. You know, they have to learn and develop against the system, as I said multiple times in this video. But when he was on, he was on. There were times in the bubble where he was just making shots left and right, and then like, oh, he has 20 points already. With Jeremy Grant gone, he's gonna get a lot more minutes, a lot more playing time, and I think he's gonna have a monster year. He's quick, he's athletic, he can get to the rim at ease, and he can shoot the three. He's super young, he has a lot of potential, and we're gonna see a lot of that this year. And even though he wasn't playing his first year in the league because of his injuries, he was still learning, you know, going to film sessions, you know, watching on the bench, Jokic, Murray, like you still learn that way. So it helped his learning curve a bit. So overall, I don't think there's gonna be much inconsistency. Maybe at the start of the season just because, you know, getting back into it and getting back into shape. But other than that, if he stays healthy, big year for Michael Porter Jr. And then quickly, I just want to throw in Christian Wood. I know I said 3, but I'm gonna do 4 quickly. Only because I've talked about Christian Wood quite a few times, and I've talked about how last year I think he really did have his breakout year, which is why I'm not saying he's gonna have a breakout year this year, but in a way he kind of is. Because I think last year we saw it, I just think it wasn't recognized. You know, he's gonna be in Houston now with John Wall, Cousins, Harden will be there, maybe, maybe not. Either way, there'll be a lot of people watching the Rockets, and so therefore I think he'll get the shine he deserves. And so on top of being noticed, I think he's still gonna put up good numbers and even increase his numbers from last year. He can grab boards, he can do what you need him to do, and he'll give you some nice impact on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So there you have it. Those are my predictions on the players upcoming this season. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Bye.